Mr. Young Trader, it is Friday morning and TGIF. Now, the market is just getting hammered here. The Nasdaq's down about 300 on he now extended the Mexico tariffs, T-Man did, for 90 days, but he really hammered on Canada. And he's going to put 35% tariffs on there and some other countries here. That's why the market is just getting hammered. Okay, let's take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the old NQ. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation advice on the stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Now, you can see here we're trading this box. Okay, look at the top of that box. It was 121,255, and then we're looking to the bottom of that candle at 115,635. Now, you can see here we went lower again on that today. So today we made a low of 114,420. We were looking at the top of this. This would be the gap fill at 114,380. So that gap still is not filled. So this is going to be your next target on the downside is that 114,380 level. Then what we do is we come right to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 112,590 level. And then we come up here at 112,345. And then we come to the bottom of this candle at that 110,880. And what we're looking realistically is that 110,942, which is just above that candle. If it keeps right on selling. Now, first of all, we have to get this gap filled. So right now we're into the gap. So we got to see how this all shakes out. Now, on the upside, you're watching it has to get back above that 116,475. There's your 21-day, and the rate above that is 117,829. Now, if this 8-day starts curling over and crosses that 21-day, then they're going to be fighting it the whole way. That's going to be very, very strong resistance then if we have a crossover. But if we can get above that 21-day and above that 8-day, then what we're going to be looking at is this top situation here at 119,785, and then we have 124.15, and we're going to have that retest at 121,255 level, and obviously we have the big retest up there at 123,615. But right now we broke that box, but we had not filled that gap yet. So we're going to see how this is all going to shake out. Now, RSI, well, you're sitting at 50. That's not overbought or oversold. The green crossed over your red. That's that's not good. That shows momentum to the downside, and that's exactly what we have. So let's just see how this shakes out. If we can get back above that 21 SMA here and really try to head for that 8-day. We really like to have that 8-day flatten back out. You don't want it to have it cross because once you have that cross, then you can take that price right on down. But let's just take a look at this 50, give it the benefit of the doubt because it held in the past. But so far, we have not filled the gap. Came really close, but not filled that gap. Now, here we look at a weekly chart here. We really want to hold 112,117. That's that 8-day. That's going to be very, very key. And then we have the top of that candle at 112,345. So we have a couple very, very strong support levels here, which we need. And then we can come to the top there at 110, 150. And then we have 108,960 level. Well, let's just see how this all shakes out here today. Just give it a little bit of time. It's very, very early in the morning. See if we can crawl right back above that 21-day and possibly head towards that 8-day. If not, we're going to fill this gap. That's going to be 114,380, and then we'll be looking at that 112,590. But realistically, we'll be heading for that 50-day at 110,942, and then we have to see what the reaction is once it gets there. Does it blast through, or does it just bounce it and hit right on up here? But this was holding up very, very nicely. But yesterday, after the announcement, after hours, you can see where she just came right on off. Little patience. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold. All righty. Now, we can see here we had that nice downtrend, popped up here, but couldn't get through that 33.89 level. Yesterday, we rallied up, but where did it go? Right into that 8-day and then pulled back. And today, now we're stuck right at the same situation. So we have that 8-day at 33.53. The 21-day, 33.54, and then that 50-day at 33.56. So this is going to be your big-time resistance level if we can get above. Next level, we go to yesterday's high at that 33.66, and then we're going to head for that 33.89 level. Okay, it comes right off the top of that candle. This is very, very strong resistance. We get above that, then we can hit that 34.01, 34.16, 34.47, and then you retest up there at 34.51. Now, I have no position. I'm waiting for it to close back above all this key resistance there, 50-day, the 21-day, and that 8-day. Then I would jump into the GLD once we close above this 33.89. Okay. Now, yeah, if you miss a little bit, it doesn't really matter, but you got to give above this 33.89. See, one's there, okay, two, and then 3, and it can't get through. So you got to get above that. Then we can head for that 34.51 level. Now we look here at the 49. That's not overbought or oversold. The green just is going sideways. So basically what you have is just a sideways consolidation, kind of a situation that we've had. But the chart is still low, higher low, higher low, higher low, bottom left, upper right. Very, very bullish chart, but we're just kind of just going with the sideways action. That was your 34.76. That was the top. It couldn't get through there at 34.51, and now she's coming down, but we're consolidating here. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But even if you take this little period here, you have a low, and a higher low situation. So actually just be very, very patient. But what I'm waiting for is a close above that 33.89 to take it long again. Okay, silver. Well, let's just see Ohio silver here. Now, yesterday we came all the way on down and we went below that 50-day, but you notice we closed above it. Today, we made a little bit higher low. We have an inside day, and where are we? Right above that key 50-day. Okay, very, very nice. So if we lose that 50-day, 36.28 is next, and then we just bring this price channel here right across. Okay, you're looking at right there. Okay, 35.95, and then we look there at 35.58. And then we go to the bottom of that candle at 35.19, and then we hit that 34.79. But right now, here, we're still back above that 8-day, so give it a little bit of credit here. We got to see how long as it holds. Now, upside, I'll look at today's high, 36.82. Yesterday's high, 37.28. And then we're going to be heading for that 21-day at 38.04, and 38.04 is that 8-day. Now, this is going to be where the problem lies. See where that 8-day now is going to be doing almost like a crossover. It crosses over as this rallies up. This is going to be very, very strong resistance. Okay, so we had negative divergence, sold off. Okay, negative divergence, sold off big time. But we're holding that 50-day, so let's just see how that all going to shake out. Now, 41, no, nowhere near oversold. Okay, same with the green, below the red. Okay, that's not good. So this was a red flag when you have that cross. This here, negative divergence, that's another red flag. And then when you have this bear flag situation going up here, and then we have that big downturn, now we got to look at this again. So silver right now is not looking very good, but if we can hold that 50-day, that's looking not too bad to take it right back up to that 38.04 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have crude oil and natty gas. All right, so we had this nice rally off that 100-day. Because hey, how nice that 100-day is. See how strong it was on the upside, held it. And then on the downside, we held it all the way through. And then we had a nice good rally up. We were looking for the top of that candle, got a little bit higher, and then we went all the way up here to that 70.51 level. Now what we have so far today is we have ourselves an inside day. Yesterday we had a red candle, and now here we have this low of 68.52. So on the upside, what you're looking at for is 69.55, and then a retest of that 70.51 level. That's what we're looking for, and that's really what the reaction is. We get above that, we're going to look to the bottom of that candle, 71.33. That's your next target. And then we're looking at 72.34, and then we're going to look for this 34 area. Okay, see we have 73.90 level. We have 74.27, and if you look at the closing number, it's 74.04. So this 74 number is going to be very, very strong resistance, and obviously if you get above that, then we can have the retest all the way at there of 78.40. But right now, we got to get through that 70.51 in order to hit that 74 level. Okay, now on the downside, well, we're watching that 200-day. You're looking at 68.02, and then we're looking at this 67.64, that 8-day, and then we're looking at the 67.30, your 21-day, and then we have your 66.35, your 50-day, and then back to 100-day. Okay, now we lose all that. You got 64.71, but this is what you're looking for on the bottom is that 64 flat level. You want to make sure that you hold that if you're bullish. If you don't, then we're going to start heading right towards this 57. Right there, look at the bottom of the candle at that 59 level. Okay, so right now we just have a sideways action. Let's just see how all this is going to shake out. And you got to figure your price is above all your simple moving averages. So it's going to take a catalyst to blast this up and a catalyst to take it down. So we got to see how this all going to shake out. Now RSI, you're only sitting at 55. You know, not overbought, oversold. The green is over your red. Overall, not looking too bad as long as we hold these key levels here. That's the key. I say upside, just watch that 70.51. You crack above it, all we do is just follow the candles up until we hit that 74 level. Now, natural gas. Ooh, natural gas not looking too good. We have a downtrending situation and then a big downtrending situation. Now, what we're looking for is a close back above this 8-day at that 308. If we can get above that 308, then we come top of this candle. You're looking at that 3.15 level. Okay, then we come up at top of this candle. You're looking at that 3.19, and then we come up top of there. We're looking at 3.26, but realistically, you're looking at 3.28. So if we can maintain and get above that 8-day, your big target is going to be that 21-day at 3.28, and then we have your 346. That is your 50-day and 200-day, and then 354 above that. But you can see here how you're downtrending on all your simple moving averages, not looking too good. Okay, so downside here, you're looking at 307. Then we're going to be looking to the bottom there. You're looking at that 301 level, and then we have that 2.97 level. Now, if we look at here at this pie right here area, now that gap, okay, that was 298. Now that gap is completely filled. Very, very good. But if we start losing this price channel, 297, we're going to come right to the bottom there, looking at roughly 86 is what your target is going to be. Okay, so very, very easy. Now, a lot of resistance right in this area. Okay, a lot of resistance in this area. So if it gets into this area, we have to see what the reaction is in order to take it up to 3.28. Okay, so for me right now, I'll be looking for trades in UNG. If we start losing this 2.97, then I'll jump into KOLD, and I think we're going to go way down to that 2.86. Okay, very, very nice. So 8-day here is everything. We have to get and close above. You can't just pop above it like it is there. Yesterday we went into it, okay, a little bit above it, and then pulled back. So the 8-day is still very, very strong resistance. You have to close above it in order to hit the next level. RSI, well, you just have sideways action, not overbought or oversold. The green is below your red, but we're headed towards the bottom. But right now we have ourselves a descending chart. Don't see much. You're going to need a catalyst to take it higher. Okay, let's take a look at the old NQ. Okay, here we have the old NASDAQ futures. All right, so let's just see what we got. Okay, so had a really nice, good melt up. I've been telling you for a couple months now. Got to watch it. When you see this, it doesn't take much to drop it off. Okay, and all it took was a little news from the tariffs. Now, all the major earnings, we had really good numbers yesterday. Amazon actually had really good numbers, but it didn't hold. It just sold right on off. Meta obviously is still kind of holding their upside. Microsoft is holding their upside. Nvidia, it came off here, but remember, the Nvidia earnings aren't all the way until the 27th of August, so you got plenty of time on that. Apple actually had really good numbers, and the stock is up about $3 here now. But again, you know, when you have this melt up and you get all these little candles, all it takes is a little bit, and this can fall right off the map. Okay, and that's exactly what's happening. So what we're really watching now back on the upside is that 23,202. That's your 21-day. We're watching that 8-day at 23.41, and then obviously your recent high at 22,842 or 845. Sorry about that. Okay, now on the downside, we're going to be watching that price channel at that 22,779. But realistically, the 50-day 22,451 is your target if it keeps right on selling. Okay, so what you do is you hit your main thing, your 8-day, you lose that, you go to the catch-all. You lose that, you go to the 50-day. Okay, and now if you keep right on rolling, yeah, there's support here, a lot of support in between, but really your target's going to be that 21,116 level, which is your 200-day. Now, I've been warning the guys here between this August period, August, September, October, that, when you have a market up here, take your money, take your profits, put it in your pocket. That's what I've been doing. This is a trader's market. This is not a buy and hold. So we've got to see how this all going to shake out. Okay, so a lot of times when you get up here to looking for any excuse just to dump this and sell it to those retail traders, okay, that don't have a lot of clue or do not trade the charts. Okay, so when you see this melt up situation and you see all this big overbought condition, it doesn't last. Okay, now this could go right back up here to the 21-day, 8-day, and go right back. But eventually you're going to have a really nice correction here, probably about a good 15-20% correction that you're going to come right on down to probably that 200-day and maybe even that 100-day. Okay, so when you trade, put money in your pocket, use stop losses. Okay, nothing goes up forever. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.